Welcome to another edition of Mike's Market Update. My name is Mike Rennick. I'm the team lead, the senior broker with Team Rennick Real Estate Services, part of that great Keller Williams on the Water family. The March data has just recently been released. It's about 20-25 days before data is released and approved to share like we're going to do here. But let's take a look in terms of Sarasota and Manatee County, our service areas, what's going on in the market. We're going to break it down into two different facets. We're going to look at single family homes and we're going to look at condos because the markets are different. We're going to look at three aspects. We're going to look at the sold for sale kind of things, and we'll look at how many units were put on the market, how many were actually sold, and how many went pending during the month of March. Those are the three aspects of sales. Then I want to jump into what's happening with prices. How many days on the market? Is it taking longer or less time to get things sold? And then also, how many months of inventory are out there? So we'll go through this. If you have any questions, we can do a much deeper dive. I'll talk about that in a minute. But jumping into this, so for the month of March, single family homes for Sarasota and Manatee Counties, there was 5,654 put on the market for sale. That's actually down 2.5% from a month ago, up 7.1% from last year. Jumping over to condos, there was 3,070 put on the market during the month of March. That's down 4.5% from last month. That's actually up 7.8% from last year. Jumping over to how many actually were closed or the actual number sold, 1,364 single family homes. That's up 34% from a month earlier. That's break even with last year. Jumping over to condos, 663 were actually sold. That's up almost 49% from a month ago. That's down almost 11% from last year. How many went under contract? These are where deals were put in place. We call it pending, but they haven't closed yet. 1,718 single family homes, up almost 28% from last month, up 10% from last year. 809 condos went pending. That's up 25%, almost 25% from a month ago, but that's down almost 2% from a year ago. So we see a mixed bag. What does that mean to you as a buyer or seller? I'll come back to that in just a minute. There's more variables that are also important. When we look at price, the most fairest metric to look at is average per square foot. That puts everything on as close to apple basis as you can. $194 a square foot for single family homes, almost a break even from last month and almost a break even from last year. $208 per square foot for condos. That's down almost 6% from last month. That's down 13% from last year. So 6% down from last month, 13% from last year on price. Days on the market, condos and single family homes are tied at 79 days. On the single family homes, that's down almost 4% from last month. That's up, it's actually closer to a break even from last year. Let's call it break even. On the condo side, that's down almost 17% from last month. That's down 7% from last year. Months of inventory, 4.1 for single family homes, down 28% from last month. It's up a little over 5% from last year. 4.6 months of inventory of condos on the market in Sarasota and Manatee County. That's down 36.1% from last month. That's up almost 21% from last year. So as I've shared in previous videos, we see a mixed bag. So here's what's important. One, you need a real estate broker that has access to the data. Second, and as importantly, is willing to spend time understanding the data, because it isn't at the county or market level that's important. We need to drill down to your subdivision, your condo association, down to the level that you're going to buy or sell. Your agent needs to know how to interpret the data, but here's the most important point. The number third deliverable, and absolutely the most important, is being able to develop a plan strategic to you and what your goals are. So if you're selling in a seller's market or buying in a seller's market, there's a way to win. Conversely, if you're buying in a seller's market or buying in a buyer's market, there's still a way to win. but you need to start off with your agent understanding this data. For every consultation we do, this is our beginning point, each and every time. If you'd like more information, no obligation, feel free to reach out. Let me leave my personal cell with you. That phone number is 941-400-8735. My email address is mike@teamrennig.com. Let's sit down, let's chat, no pressure, no obligation. Let's see how we can put together a plan to help you win. Thanks for watching.